Hello folks, it's Josh Gaines. It's your favorite guy on the internet speaking about metaphysical ideas, esoteric themes, spirituality in general, and bringing a sense of entertainment and levity to it. Today we got the kitty on the lap, Potato, the archangel cat, bringing his blessing to the stream. And basically I'm experimenting with going live to talk about particular topics for a brief time. And all right, well, that was all the blessing we get from Potato today. But I've been reading Autobiography of a Yogi for the first time. This is my first time going through this book. It was in my relative awareness for years and years. I would see it at Barnes & Noble with that strange cover of the painting of the Swami's face and just be like, entirely bewildered by what that could be as a kid, as a little Christian boy, like looking at these crazy Hindu books, you know. And then years later, come to find that it's one of the most powerful and potent summaries of so many spiritual concepts that it's almost like one could read only this book and ultimately unlock everything that they need from a on a spiritual path sense, in a magic sense, in a understanding all of world religion and this reality. But I wanted to read one passage in particular because it was such a delight to get a perspective specifically about the devil, about Satan, baby, that classic character, that classic legend, you know, that figure that has haunted so many people's lives and dreams, and that Christians attribute enormous weight to this guy, Lucifer, you know, star of the morning, the light bringer, the light bearer. And so it's like, I haven't believed in the devil for a long time. Even when I was a Christian, I was kind of like, I don't know about this guy, you know, because not to divulge on this too much or to dwell on this too much, but it's like, when you grow up Christian, it's like Jesus is the Avengers and the devil is Thanos, kind of. It's like this big, goofy superhero tale. We all know God wins in the end, and the devil is the bad guy who's like not as powerful, but for a while he reigns over everything, and he's like trying to get people to hell, trying to get people to sin so that they don't make it into heaven or something. And then at the end of time, at the apocalypse, Jesus comes down from the sky and saves everybody except the ones who didn't believe, and they go live in Satan's domain forever. None of it makes any fucking sense. And so yeah, then came to understand like more nuance about the Bible, that this is metaphor or just massively misunderstood, misinterpreted, mistranslated through time. It was always symbolic for like a more ethereal thing, and people turned it into this literal historical understanding. And it created this entire mess to where there are millions of people living today, whether in Christianity or under the belief of Islam or Judaism, who think that the devil is a literal, physical, real guy somewhere out there in the ether, somewhere out in space, and that the devil has actual sway over your life, or is somehow dangerous, or can like send demons after you to tempt you, or that he's, you know, reigning over hell, which is a physical space that your soul can go after you die. Like, it's gotten so out of hand how large that mythos has become, and the power and attribution that people have given to this idea of Satan or the devil or Diablo. It's wild. I mean, at this point, it is real in the sense that it's a huge fucking egregore that millions of people throughout history have been feeding energy and attention to this figure that now in the universe it has become a real entity, at least in people's imaginations. But all right, I digress. I want to read this to you. It's just a couple of paragraphs here, because I had never heard this particular perspective, and this to me is one of the most helpful and simple summaries of what the devil actually is, to just put a pin in it for the rest of time. So this is from This is actually like a little sub-note, a footnote in the chapter, The Law of Miracles from Autobiography of a Yogi. Quote, "In this chapter, I have given the Vedic explanation of Māyā, the magical power of illusion that underlies the phenomenal worlds. Western science has already discovered that a magic of unreality pervades atomic matter. However, it is not only nature, but man also in his mortal aspect who is subject to Māyā, the principle of relativity, contrast, duality, inversion, and oppositional states. It should not be imagined that the truth about Māyā was understood only by the rishis." All right, you know what? It's too hard to read in these sunglasses. I need my prescription glasses. "The Old Testament prophets called Māyā by the name of Satan." The Old Testament prophets called the world of illusion Māyā. They called it Satan. It was just the world of illusion. Okay, back to the quote. I'm going to finish this. In Hebrew, literally, it means the adversary. The Greek Testament, as an equivalent for Satan, uses Diabolos, or devil. Satan, or Māyā, is the cosmic magician who produces multiplicity of forms to hide the one formless verity. In God's plan and play, the sole function of Satan, or Māyā, is to attempt to divert man from spirit to matter, from reality to unreality. Christ describes Māyā picturesquely as a devil, a murderer, a liar. Quote, "The devil was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it." John 8:44 from the Bible. "The devil sinneth from the beginning. For this purpose the Son of God was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil." 1 John 3:8. That is the manifestation of Christ consciousness within man's own being, effortlessly destroys the illusions or works of the devil. Māyā is from the beginning because of its structural inheritance in the phenomenal worlds. These are ever in transitional flux as antithesis to the divine immutability. So, at the end of the day, got to go back to cool guy mode. I love that explanation so much because it just takes away all of this legend and mythos that has been built around the devil as if it's a real figure that God will someday destroy. It was always a metaphor. And through years of transliteration and misinterpretation and people taking the words of Jesus literally, dumbass fucking podunk Hicks in Texas being like, "My pastor said the devil was after me and I better not masturbate or he gonna get me." You know, just the dumbest people on earth. Turning this into something that it never was. And so now we're here in 2025 and the majority of the world has a completely wrong misunderstanding of what the devil is, which is just feeding into the illusion all the more that the devil is just a symbol of the illusion that we are all in, that is keeping us separate from the fullness of God that we actually are. And that to destroy the devil is to realize our God oneness in this body that we already are, and to awaken from the illusion of Māyā, to tear back the veil of reality and to understand that it was all one the whole time. Now, why was this even built into the whole structure of whatever this is, of consciousness? Why even bother with the world of Māyā? Why even bother with the world of illusion that most people are under the hypnosis of for thousands of lifetimes, living out these karmic cycles and just living tens of thousands of lifetimes as a regular little guy, doing different things, not understanding that you are asleep to the truth of what you actually are? Why do this? I don't really know. I definitely don't understand how it works. I suppose it's that because that would be the most fun way to do it, that would be the way that God could be the most playful and could have the most experiences is by being so deeply embedded in the illusion, in the simulation, in the dream, that God does not even remember that they are dreaming. And that slowly, after having millions and trillions of experiences, that slowly God wakes back up to realize that God has always been all of this, and then reunite into complete oneness once it has had every possible infinite constellation of experiences that God could possibly have, including cute little boy on the internet talking about the devil. So it's like, all right, cool, man. I guess at the end of the day, we're just here to have this experience and like not be too concerned about all those people still confused about the devil, because at some point, all those dumbass Christians, eventually, somewhere in their path, you know, thousands of lifetimes from now, after they're a little bug and they're a dog and they're a stick and they're the president and they're a pauper and they're every possible thing in between, that they finally realize, oh, I was God the whole time, living in this body. There is no devil. There is no Satan. There is no sin. This is just a world of illusion, and that when I die, I realize and remember what I always was, and I can choose to come back and live a different life, because that would be fun. Because it's fun to go through the struggle and eat food and have new experiences and have to work and have to sweat and have to lose things and experience pain and sickness and death, because then you wake up and it's like you take that VR headset off of the video game and it's like, oh no, that was actually awesome. I loved that. Damn, let's get another one going. Boot me up for, you know, the king experience. Boot me up for the artist experience. Boot me up for the sex worker experience. Boot me up for the little child in Palestine experience. I mean, I'm just saying, some part of God wanted to experience that. Sorry if that upsets you, but it's true. Some part of God wanted to be Elon Musk. Some part of God wanted to be Trump. Some part of God wanted to be someone suffering in a different part of the world right now. And some part of God wanted to be a dumbass fucking hick in Alabama who thinks that the devil is real. Anyhow, thank you for joining me today. Highly recommend this book. It's a fucking banger. It is laced with incredible truths. I'm enjoying the hell out of it. It has taught me so much, and you can like feel the imprint, the legacy of both Yogananda, like his actual presence, and also his guru Yukteswar. It's like you can feel these guys in the room with you when you are reading this book, and it's like they're channeling the truth of their message, the potency of that message, directly to the reader in this way that, like, it's like their spirit is still alive, speaking through this book in a way that is kind of spooky almost. So, highly recommend, and thank you for being here. Leave a comment in the comments of what you would like to hear me talk about next. I've been wanting to do more lives about metaphysical subjects, about esoteric ideas, whether it's meditation or magic or anything that seems interesting. Reality is a mirror, reality is a simulation. Not because I'm an expert on these things, but I do have a certain understanding and an ability to speak to them because I have learned enough to realize that it's relatively all the same thing. But I'm still very much going through my own journey of understanding and experiencing all this too. I am still awakening from the dream of Māyā. I am still pulling back the veil. I am by no means awakened and enlightened, but things are starting to make sense, and I love talking about this stuff. So thank you for being here, and you can support this channel and my work in the description. There are numerous links if you love what I do, if you appreciate me and the way that I speak about these ideas in such an entertaining way, like no one else on the internet is doing. All these other fucking edgelord little nerds talking about magic are so insufferable, and your boy Josh brings a sense of levity and playfulness and entertainment to it because it's all just fucking goofy and silly and it doesn't matter, all right? Anyway, thank you so much. Have a lovely day. Be kind to yourself. Remember, all of this is a dream. so you may as well have a great time.